Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, comic book pros that work within the industry, like, for example, DC and Marvel, are having complaints, and it is about piracy of comic books. Now, of course, these comic book pros are probably wondering, oh, why is it that people are pirating comics nowadays? And, a lot of them go to Twitter that work for DC and Marvel. They don't help their case by going around and attacking the fans. And, you really want to turn off your fans to your comics and buying your products or anything like that. Yeah, just go attack them and see how that turns out, because I can guarantee you they're not going to be interested, especially with how comics today, at least American comics, have to have their political agenda just spewed all over the pages. And let's be real, nobody wants that in comics. And of course, they just try to completely ignore the success of anime and manga. So let's look at an article here, and we're going to go over a bunch of this. So let's talk about piracy. Illegal downloading of media has been a constant thorn in the side of the entertainment industry since file sharing started to become popular with the rise of Napster back in 1999. Oh, the 90s. The time when just nobody cared about anything and it was just a good life. I remember that. I remember those times. Since then, Napster has given birth to dozens of offshoot torrent and file sharing sites. User shares everything from complete digital libraries of musical artists to bootleg foreign copies of the latest movies to other sources of entertainment to the latest releases of comic books. And it's here at the piracy of comics that we are going to focus for this editorial. Yesterday, Twitter exploded as comic professionals squared off with fans on the issue of illegal downloading and file sharing. The complaints seemed to stem from a post from artist Ted Brandit, who is a member of the creative team for the image comic Crowded, which we're going to get into a lot of these tweets. So this is a big thing, so get ready. Just watch what these people have to say. So we're going to go over this. So this is what he had to say. How do you get your stuff taken off a pirate site? Crowded's up to 95,000 reads on one I just looked at while I'm completely broke. Brandon went to explain that Crowded had already had to shorten the comics project run as a lack of physical sales has forced the creative team to take drastic measures. Well, had they made interesting stuff, maybe this wouldn't be an issue. Then again, also, if they just kept their politics out, wrote good, enticing stories, and great characters with excellent development, yeah, I don't think there'd be an issue. And if they'd stop attacking their fans also, then I think people would be, really invested. But, who am I? I'm just a fan who has supported comics for many years. But who am I to say, right? What do I know? Seriously, 95,000 reads over the 10 issues? What the ever-living F? We've already had to shorten the book due to a lack of money. With Crowded carrying a $3.99 cover price, this means that Image and the creative team have lost an estimated $379,000 in sales over the life of the series. Whew. Yeah, don't attack your fans, make good stories, make great characters. This problem wouldn't occur, I'm just saying, and they wonder why the comic book industry is falling apart. It was this Twitter thread that began a back and forth between comic pros and the supposed fans that support them. High-profile creators like Donnie Cates took to their own profiles and shared in the piracy outrage. If they can figure out how to torrent, then they can get on Comixology and pay for it. This BS excuse is wearing thin. No one has a right to comics. You want them, you pay for them, period. Then, of course, you have someone responding with, okay, but here's the thing. Not everyone in the world has access to comic books. I have mutuals who have no comic book store remotely close to them, or the shopping charges on them are extremely high, which means it's not worth it. Which it's not. I mean, back in the day, comic books used to be 99 cents, and it was very easy for many people to be able to obtain. But when you have comics today that are like $4.99 to around $8.99, and they only have about 20 to 30 pages, yeah, that's too much for just 20, 30 pages of hardly any material. And then sometimes people just get confused because these comics, overlap into other characters as well, which you'd have to have their stories to understand what's going on. So, you know, you can't really blame people for not wanting to pay the price for, something that just isn't really worth it. So I have to agree, it's not really worth it, it's too expensive. But here's where the article goes into shill overdrive. The resistance that most creators were met with by fans that took the stance that because comics were too expensive at their cover price, it was forcing consumers to avoid the market and go illegal. Please note that most of these arguments were being made on Twitter, an online service that would require some form of an internet connection device, which I'm going to assume isn't free, to make the claim that comics are too expensive. Yeah, but they also don't think about how the internet really helps people with their daily lives as well as it helps them with jobs and school and things like that. You work on your needs first, then your wants. But hey, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. So let's cut the BS. Piracy is a problem for every publisher and creator out there. From Marvel to the smallest of indie creators, the entire comic book industry is losing money. They don't bring up how anime or manga is actually pirated as well, but it still makes the money. But I wonder why that is. Oh, that's right. That's because when it comes down to anime and manga, people actually like that entertainment, and they also aren't being attacked by the authors and the artists who do the anime and manga. There's a big difference with that. And also, anime and manga is very entertaining. When it comes to Japan, they don't worry about their political stuff. They don't worry about throwing that stuff into anime and manga. They just worry about making good, entertaining stories that people are going to love and enjoy, and that they would want to buy it. That's what they do, and that's what they work on. And guess what? Despite the fact that anime and manga have piracy out there, it's still successful. But that's because people love anime and manga, and right now we are within the golden age of anime and manga. I mean, anime and manga are selling so much more than American comics. Like manga, people are going to it. People are rushing to it because it's so good, it's so fun, and it's entertaining. That's the biggest part. People enjoy it. They want to have a good time when they're watching or reading something. They don't want to have just nonsense thrown in their face and just think, wow, this was a waste of $5. Nobody wants that, especially whenever they go on to social media like Twitter or things like that, and then just see the artist or the author going around attacking people because they said, oh, well, you know what? You don't like it. Don't buy it. It's on you. It's your fault that it's doing bad. When in reality, what's the author doing? What's the artist doing whenever they make these comments? They're making fans leave. Because fans don't want to get attacked. Fans just want to go have a good time. They want to have entertainment that's fun and interesting, and they just want to have a good time. They want to support whatever they enjoy, and they're not going to support something that, well, for one, they're getting attacked over, but two, it's just not fun. Nobody's going to support that. Nobody cares about that. It's why they just instead go on to other things or better entertainment. That's what lures people more to stuff like anime and manga, for example. Now, this part of the article talks about how there are a bunch of freelancers within the industry and that they work on this stuff, but here's the thing. Whenever they work on this stuff, it's not their own creation, that they are working on what the industry owns. Now, while that is true, had they actually been doing good on the sales, had they actually been making great stories, that'd be fine. But what do a lot of these freelancers do? Oh, they come in and they push whatever narrative they want to push with everybody's favorite characters. Thus, people have complaints and issues with this. It's not stuff that people want to see. It's not stuff that people care about. But then when you go to manga, now, whenever you already have price issues in terms of comic books at $4.99 to $8.99, then when you look at manga, yeah, okay, so it's $10 for manga, but you have about like 100 to 120 pages of great material that just is linked up by the previous issue. And it's not like they have to intertwine with other series to make it work. They can just go forward and it works from there. And there's none of this stuff where the characters are pushing a narrative or anything like that. It's fun, interesting entertainment. And in manga, you just get a lot of material. I mean, it's better than getting 20 pages or 30 pages. And that's about it for like $5. And here's the thing. Even the BBC had to make an article on this. They even jumped in on how the sales of American comics are going down due to piracy. So this is what they had to say. Jim Zub, who writes for Marvel and IDW, tweeted that 20 times as many people read comics illegally shared online than pay for digital or physical works. Many other comic creators replied with their own experiences of pirated work. For some, piracy brought personal and professional cost, while others suggested radical distribution changes. Remember 6 months ago when I mentioned the comic piracy numbers were easily 20 times legitimate buyers and it was a real problem? Sometime yesterday, a bunch of other comic pros looked closer, saw the numbers, and the cold chill of it really hit. Yup! And that's the thing. Sometimes people will pirate stuff before they like something, and if they have enough money, because money is a big issue too. If they have enough money and they like what they saw, then guess what? They will actually go and support it. Sometimes people have to test the waters before they make sure that they want to support something, and this is a way some people do it. Just saying. So, going forward, this is what another person had to say.
I used to run a webcomic. It was free to read. People would rehost the newest strip on Reddit and Imgur. The day it came out, thousands to millions of people would read it there and then tell me the exposure was useful. My comic was already free to read. Now it doesn't update.
It also depends on whether your content's good or not. That's the next thing. If your webcomic's good, people will go support you. If it's not, well, people don't really care. People aren't going to be as interested if it's not. But while we have the issue of comic pros whining over piracy, here's the funny thing. You look at anime, which is also being pirated, and ironically enough, Japanese anime market hits record high sales for the 6th year in a row. Now, the only thing I want to point out here is while this does address some things, Anime News Network is the source, and that's Anime News Network is not really that reliable, but this is what this has to say at least. A new report via Anime News Network. The CNN of news for anime. Confirms the Association of Japanese Animations, AGA, will soon publish its Anime Industry Report 2019 on December 9th. A preview of the report published on November 29th notes the anime industry in 2018 was valued at over 2 trillion yen, which the estimate would be $19.9 billion. If that's true, then that's really good. A 0.9% increase on the prior year. In fact, the industry has seen growth for the past 9 years and has achieved a record high for the 6th consecutive year. Now, it shows you that when you make good entertainment, when you make stuff that people enjoy, and despite the fact that people do pirate anime and manga, they will jump to actually supporting it because it's good content, it's good entertainment, and it's stuff that people grow to love. Just saying, there's a big difference there. And guess what? Despite this tells you that it's doing excellent in comparison to comics, because comics are just straight up dying. It's sad to say, but it is the truth. In addition, the results were broken down by domestic markets, the sold line, and overseas markets, the dotted line. As you can see on the chart below, 2018 was the first time the domestic market has grown since 2014. Comparatively, the overseas market has now surpassed the 1 trillion yen mark, estimated at $9.14 billion. In both cases, growth from 2017 was comparatively minor. That is crazy. That is great to see. Additional facts include, reportedly, how other various areas fared in 2018. Live events value grew by 23.1% and streaming by 10.2%. However, merchandising rights value decreased by 4.4% and home video by 23.3%. This marks the home video markets with consecutive yearly decrease. As the Japanese market finally grows again, the international market is about to catch up, combined with the reduced sales of home video and rising popularity of streaming. Which, that's the thing. The internet now is becoming very popular in terms of watching and catching up with things. And that's the big thing here. Anime and manga is doing great in this. And like I said, just goes back to comics. Whenever people try to look for stuff, they may pirate something to get an opinion, kind of like a free sample. You get your free sample, and if you like it, you may actually go and buy it because you enjoy it. And this is kind of the thing that they're doing here with the comics as well as anime and manga, because a lot of people that, like I said, get into anime and manga that really enjoy it, if they did pirate it, then they will start to actually support it. And, that's the thing. That's how it works. And if your content's bad, like the American comic book industry, nobody cares. Nobody's going to want it. And if your authors and artists are just attacking the fans, then of course you're going to drive them away. And that's why a lot of people have been going towards anime and manga, because it's just so much better. Look at Hero Academia, and you'll notice that Hero Academia, for example, guess what? It was based off American comics. It was based off the American heroes, and people love that series in the Western market because it is fantastic. Great characters, great story, great development. It's just fun. It's a great series. And I mean, when you have stuff like that was based off the American market and it's beating the American market, that tells you something. And while these comic book pros are going to sit over here and they're going to whine and cry because they keep making mistakes, they keep making uninteresting stories, and they keep trying to push political narratives, you're going to see anime and manga continue to grow because it tries to actually do things that is fun and that people will want to come back for more of. Because you do good stuff, people are going to come back for it. I mean, that's how it works in entertainment, but hey, I'm just saying. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below, and share the video. Let's try to spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated. It really helps out the channel a lot. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow can always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.